I was so, I had reached a moment to where I was incapable of even feeding my baby, and I just didn't know what to do. We hit rock bottom, like financially hit rock bottom. So their mom, a good person, just didn't want to be a mom, that's all. And so I never had any hard feelings or harsh feelings towards her. I was 28 years old, or 27 years old. On that same weekend that she takes off, I get a letter in the mail from my other son that's 2 years old at the time. He got diagnosed with cerebral palsy. I'd been taking him into the doctors, trying to figure out what to do with him, you know, as far as like what kind of care he needs, because he like wasn't using his right arm. Like he would grab things like this, like he would go like that. He wouldn't use it. He wouldn't extend his arm. I can't work as much because now I got to take him to the hospital like 4 times a week. I felt like I always had solutions to everything going on. My son's in my bedroom in the makeshift tent with the candle, and I was just sat in the corner, man, and I just started crying. Like I was like, how the hell did I go from that to this? Like I can't even feed my son anymore. This is right at the bottom of Pompeii, this winery. Wow. On Christmas, they literally bring snow and let the kids sled if you're part of the HOA. Yeah, big ass shower, everything, man. Like it's like someone's bigger than someone's bedroom.
But what's happening right now is I essentially saw some really cool posts from this individual and I DM'd him. He owns a lot of property. He gives back to the community. He's hardworking. He's driven. A perfect friend to have, man. Can we collab? He said, yeah. Bro gave me his address, called me. And honestly, bro, like the only reason I'm able to collaborate with people like this is because of you guys. And I really mess with that. So I do really appreciate everything that's been going on with my platforms. And I really appreciate everyone that's watching these videos. So thank you everyone that's watching. And if you are new, make sure to subscribe. If you have been here before, please hit that like button, man. A lot of you guys that watch my videos are not subscribed to me. So if you are new, please hit that subscribe button. I think this is it. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's it. How do we get in?
There's a doorbell to the right.
Door. How's it going, man?
Hello.
Not the guard dog. Hi, buddy. How's it going, man?
Yeah, how you doing?
Pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, I was checking out some of your videos, man. Look, you look like you're having fun.
Thank you.
I'm Kahea, by the way. Yeah, pleasure to meet you guys.
Got some brews. Just crack him open. No, he's good. I got a dog too.
Stuff. Just got the tree in.
It's a beautiful home, man. Would you like us to take off our shoes?
Yeah. Okay. Alexa, close the gate.
It's a crazy room.
It's like my lounge right
It's
here.
beautiful, man.
We'll walk through. We'll just do like a tour of the house. Be like cribs. Full on bar. So I turned this into my office. Some sick wine straight from Italy that I've been holding for a long time for like a really good day. 2016. This is right at the bottom of Pompeii, this winery. Wow. So this is called, this type of wine is called, translated, it's called the Tears of Christ, right? Because Christ, when he looked down, when Jesus looked down and saw Pompeii and all the people dying, he cried, he wept in the vineyard.
So I do know like you're Hawaiian, right?
Yeah, Hawaiian Sicilian.
A lot of estate in Hawaii.
Yeah.
You like renovate.
Uh-huh.
And I saw one reason why I messaged you, right?
Yeah.
I saw that you make homeless shelters or
Yep.
some kind of shelters. And I was like, that's crazy. And I saw like one video. You didn't document too much of it, but the piece that you documented was just, it's breathtaking, man. Congratulations on everything you're doing.
Thank you, man.
And that's just awesome stuff.
Back in Maui, here to build a bunch of shelters. Back at Living Way Church.
We're gonna have 3 windows, right? These are 4 foot wide, 3 feet tall. My family, so we lost 5 houses in Maui when the fire went down. My relatives of mine, right, cousins of mine, and when that happened, I was actually right here, and there's actually a video of me. I'm doing like a Zoom call with someone, and if you look behind, in the middle of the Zoom call, you're seeing all the headlines about the Maui thing, the Maui fire, right? As soon as I get off the Zoom call, I turn around because I'm kind of hearing a little bit, but I'm trying to focus on work, right? I turn around, I'm like, holy shit, the island's on fire. And I reach out to some of my family members, like, yeah, we had to evacuate, we lost our house. And I said, oh man. So I just went straight to the airport that day, flew in. I've been through, I've traveled the world on doing like international humanitarian aid. I've been in like pretty bad scenes, and right off the bat, I already knew shelters was an issue. And so right off the bat, I was like, all right, guys, this is what we're gonna do. And if you look at some of my posts, like literally it's like the day after the fire. While everybody else is worried about food and, oh, we gotta get food, we gotta get clothing, and I was like, no, we gotta build shelters, guys. There's not enough houses on Maui. And so that's how I started attacking that. So I personally donated probably about 50 grand, and then I've had friends of mine donate money, and we built shelters and just trying to keep building as much as we can.
That's crazy, man. The fact that you allowed me to like meet you, man, I really appreciate being here with you.
I'm chill, man. I'm very, very chill. Like
the whole idea of this was like when I see something cool, when I see someone that's doing something cool, I have to reach out to him, man.
So right here we have the shopping center. We can take the boat. We go to the shopping center. There's like cantina right there, Mexican restaurant, and we have 3 private beaches on this lake, and it's all private. This entire lake's all private, and so you can swim, paddleboard. The beaches are like huge sandy beaches. On Christmas, they literally bring snow and let the kids sled if you're part of the HOA. And so, I love this place, actually. Down here, I'll work down here throughout the day.
This is awesome, dude.
It's crazy, huh? The backyard. All the lights on this thing, I had this all built. All the lights on here are all solar.
No way.
Got a TV down here too. So it's like, yeah, it's pretty sick, man.
It's all you. It's all you, huh?
Yeah, man. Well, it's all God, man.
What's your goal on social media? Because you're posting consistently. What's your goal?
I just started posting heavy this past year, because if you look last year, I posted maybe like 6 posts in the whole year. And then this year I decided, like several, because a lot of influencers will come by and they'll like use my house to take pictures, my cars and stuff like that, like friends of mine. And they're like, dude, why don't you post? And I was like, well, I have nothing to like, I can't think of it from a monetizing standpoint. I don't want people bothering me. And it wasn't until earlier this year where it's just, I was getting hit up a lot on just like I was saying before, it's like younger kids are like asking how did you get to where you're at? Because I'm like the rags to riches story. I was broke, I was poor. And so, so then I started posting for that basically. So my goal now is that I don't want to be like a typical coach. I open up like coaching side, doing mentorships, but it's like for like businesses that are trying to scale to $1 million, right? It's not like the typical coach. Like what I do is when I come into a business, I'll like literally lay out exactly what they need to do to hit their first meal. For the particular doctor, he's scheduling for the center.
Kaiser patients.
Oh, Kaiser patients. Okay.
Refer them out to our facilities that they can have procedures down there.
Got it. Okay. So it's a Kaiser Center, basically.
It's not. It's actually its own facility, its own group. They just.
Oh, but you handle the Kaiser.
Yeah.
Okay, you handle
COVID,
Kaiser
they
patients.
would send out their patients out to us.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough.
I was looking at buying a surgery center right at the beginning of COVID, like in 2020, and man, I still kick I should have bought that. The Beverly Hills Surgical Center, and I should have bought it, man.
It's actually crazy how much profit they roll in. compared
Yeah.
To the costs, like.
My brother-in-law, he's out here. He's a doctor, so like So, and I was like, I travel a lot. So like, up in there. We got the Rari and the Bentley. So that's the V12.
Second.
Rooms? Yeah. Oh, no, I don't. I don't. Rent them out, you said? Oh, no. No, not at all.
That's wild.
Yeah. The 458s, man, are like literally,
I
they're like,
like that.
458s are literally the,
Oh man.
so sick. These rims, they don't even make these rims anymore, and they don't even have any of these rims anymore because they make everything is like supposed to be limited, right? That's what makes it. So even the steering wheel and all that.
When we
all
vlog,
carbon.
bro, I'd like to
Yeah.
just like sit next to you and record us.
Yeah.
Maybe have him drive the Tesla next to us and have someone like record us while we're in the car too. So we have two angles of
definitely.
us. I'll take my time here, man. You can go do your thing. I'm just gonna. You got the key.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, and then this one, super dirty right now, these cars, because I've been taking them out lately. So I got to get them all cleaned up. But it's a V12 twin turbo. Like, this thing is fast. Look at the rims. The rims are like 22s.
Does it run smooth? It's not.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. It runs smooth. It's heavy, though, so that's why it's not as fast, obviously, as a Ferrari. I'll take care of the kids. You go do whatever you want to do. So their mom, a good person, just didn't want to be a mom. Never had any hard feelings or hush feelings towards her, nothing at all. But I was like, look, at the same time, though, we're like crashing, market's crashing. It was 2008. I was 28 years old, or 27 years old. I had sunk a bunch of my money in a development project that was like getting eaten up. On that same weekend that she takes off, I get a letter in the mail from my other son that's 2 years old at the time. He got diagnosed with cerebral palsy. I'd been taking him into the doctors, trying to figure out what to do with him, as far as like what kind of care he needs, because he like wasn't using his right arm. Like he would grab things like this, like he would go like that. He wouldn't use it. He wouldn't extend his arm, and he was walking with a limp. And so like he's 2 years old. Like when he's one, you don't think about stuff like that because he's just barely learning how to walk. So you're like not going to judge him for limping. But at 2, it was starting to get obvious that there's something off. And so that era right there, like, we hit rock bottom, like financially hit rock bottom. She takes off. I'm trying to take care of my son. I can't work as much because now I got to take him to the hospital like 4 times a week. And we're staying at the hospital like 4 hours each time. Occupational therapy, physical therapy, and then treatments and stuff. Dude, it gets down to the point, because then I was like, well, shit, I can't even run my businesses. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to take care of him. And however I land financially, I'll figure it out when it happens. But I'm just going to focus on him because he's young. I have 2 brothers that are doctors. So they're like, yeah, cerebral palsy means you have brain damage, right? And so it's like the best time that you can retrain a brain is all the way up until about 5 years old. That's when the brain is still creating a whole bunch of neurons. And you want to take advantage of that time to like retrain the brain, how to handle the physical functions and kind of overcome some of that areas, which is experience gliosis. Gliosis means brain damage, like parts of the brain that's dead. The medical term is gliosis, when they see a dead part of the brain. So, dude, yeah, I went like full time. Like that was my work schedule. And my business started failing. I was like, whatever. Employees started leaving. Couldn't pay them at one point. They're leaving down to like I had a big printing company. 12 employees all the way down to 1. Only 1 stayed, and that dude kept working long. Oh man, I still love that guy. Even when I wasn't even paying him, he would still show up to work and do whatever he could. And I was like, man, I took care of him after that. But it got down to the point where I was out of electricity. Get home from physical therapy at a hospital, electricity's cut out. And like most people, when you're fighting these like debt issues, you're fighting like fire after fire after fire, right? Like it's like cell phone bill, you got to pay that. Okay, I'm gonna figure out the money. I'll get the cell phone on because I got to keep my cell phone bill. You're trying to pay gas just on your freaking car. All these different things, right? And it's like fire after fire after fire. And so you're fighting it, and you're trying to keep afloat. And then electricity gets cut, and I'm like, oh. My son that was a month and a half old is now like a year oldish or so, So when I walk in the house, electricity's off. But I already know that when your electricity gets cut, you don't just they don't just force you to pay the bill. You have to pay the whole bill in total, and you usually have to put a deposit in at that point as well. They force you to pay a deposit, right? So they have something to work off of in case you do it again. So now the bill goes from like $300 to like $1,000 some dollars, and I'm like, oh shit. So I walk in the house, not working. I'm like, all right, kids, we're camping. And I go and I grab a sheet and I use some thumbtacks and I put a sheet over my bed and light some candles as it's starting to get dark. And I'm like, hey, we're camping, guys, we're camping. Right off the bat, you know, your thought goes, okay, food, shelter, safety, right? Those are the three things that humans need in order to operate. Like if we're stripped of everything, the three things that we think of is food, shelter, safety. So, and actually safety, shelter, then food. That's kind of how it goes. So anyways, when that happened, I was like, okay, I can't warm up the water to feed my son for baby milk. Typically, you warm up the water in the microwave, add the Similac powder in, right? Shake it up. He's got a warm bottle. He can drink his milk. And so he's used to warm water, warm milk, the baby. So I line up the windowsill, since this was earlier in the afternoon on that day, line up the windowsill with water bottles, baby bottles with water in it. And then that way I can feed him throughout the night. So this went on for like 3 days as I was trying to figure out, okay, I got to make some money. But I was letting this I was letting the fear of everything happening, I was letting that fear take over my focus, right? Like, so Anthony Robbins explains it the best way. Anthony Robbins, or Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins talks about, I listened to this tape actually before this even happened. I was listening to this tape called Awaken the Giant. He talks about how whatever we focus on, obviously, is what comes to fruition, right? He's talking about like when he went to a race car track and he's learning how to drive race cars. He would be in the race car, he'd be with his trainer, and they would purposely like do things to the car. They'd do things to the car will spin out, and then he has to like regain control of the car, right? That's part of the job. But every single time they spin that car, they press the button, the car starts spinning, and Tony Robbins is driving. What's the natural reaction? There's a wall, and most people, including himself, he's staring at the wall. So as they're like spinning, he's like, oh no, the wall, right? Like that. And then what happens? You end up going straight for the wall because your body and everything follows the direction of your focus without you even realizing it, right? And so same thing, like when people are spiraling in like a downward movement for whatever reason, of course, they're fearing the outcome of the fall, right? Oh, the ground's coming, the ground's coming, the ground's coming. Of course, then the ground's going to come. But they could have missed, because they were looking that way, they could have missed like several ledges that were on the way down that they could have just grabbed and stopped from the ground, right? So that was me as electricity gets cut, and at that point I'm just like, man, what's the next house gonna get taken? So like it was like a deep moment for me, right? Where as powerful as I thought I was at resolving problems, I got caught in that spiral down moment, or downward spin as well. So 3 days into this, it's a colder day that day, cloudy, rainy. It's Hawaii. We're in Hawaii. And the water bottles, the big bottles, the water doesn't warm up. Later that night, I go to mix some milk, and now it's colder because it's just cold air or whatever. I go to give it to my son, my baby, Solomon. And I go to give it to him, and he spits it out and just starts crying, right? Because he's hungry and he wants warm milk. And it was like this moment, it was like a deep pit moment for me where I realized that like I was so, I had reached a moment to where I was incapable of even feeding my baby. And I was like, then at that point, it's like nothing else mattered. I couldn't even feed my son, my little baby. I couldn't feed him. And I remember like after I gave the bottle to him, he spits it out and like throws it on the side. He's crying. I remember like standing there for a second, and I just didn't know what to do. I felt like I always had solutions to everything going on. And it was that moment where I was just like, I don't know what to do anymore. And I'm like backing out of his room. We had 3 bedrooms up there on the second floor. And I back out of his room. My son's in my bedroom in the makeshift tent with the candle. And I go to the 3rd room where no one is at. And I was just sat in the corner, man. And I just start crying. And it was just like this, just like the realization of like,
The weight of it all.
yeah, to go from like a couple of years prior to that, dude, I had made my first $1 million. I was even had like a limo at one point, like drive me around. Like I was like, how the hell did I go from that to this? Like I can't even feed my son anymore. What the, you know? And I'm just sitting there, sitting there. All of a sudden, I hear my son Josh. He's the older one. At the time, he's like 4 years old or whatever. And he's like, Dad, you know, because he woke up, he heard the baby crying. Dad, where you at? I hear him like, Dad, where you at? And he just hears little footsteps kind of walking through the dark. Dad, come back to the camp out. Dad, where you at? Come back to the camp out, Dad. Come to the tent. And he's still happy because he's thinking we're camping. Like he's having fun. In his mind, we're having fun. He's having fun with Dad. We're camping in his bed. We have a little tent thing going with candles. Like he thinks this is a cool camp out. Like for the last 3 days. And I was sitting there dwelling on the pain and the misery of things that haven't even happened yet, right? Like, oh, I might lose my house. Oh, they're probably coming for the car. My car was, the people were trying to repossess my car. I had to like keep taking it back from them, kind of thing. Like they try to come take it from my house, and I'd like fight them off. And so like I was stuck in this realm of outcomes that had not happened yet. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there crying, and I hear my son, so I'm like trying to like toughen up real quick. He comes and finds me, and he's like, Dad, come back to the camp out. And he's smiling, bro. And just something changed my head where I was like, holy shit. Mm-hmm. We both are, we're both 2 humans, mm-hmm. physically living in the exact same reality. Situation, mm-hmm. Same reality, right? Mm-hmm. We're driving in the same car. We're living in the same house. We're experiencing the same physical things. Mm-hmm. Me mentally, though, am in this deep pit mm-hmm. of misery. He's enjoying a camp out with his son, with his dad. Mm-hmm. And I was like, holy shit. And it just like clicked that mentally I was taking myself there. So reality was giving me what I was focusing on. Yeah. Right, universe, I was manifesting, God, however you want to, whatever it is you want to believe in, was giving me what I'm asking for because that's what I'm focusing on. And there's all these things, like the epiphany moment came, the light bulb popped, I'm staring at my son, he's smiling, and I'm like, so many things of realization came. That physically we're in the same environment, he's happy, I'm not. The idea that, oh shit, well if that's the case, then I can control what's around me. Like I have the ability to manifest, and I manifested this, I can manifest right out then as well. Right, like all these things were flooding. My brain was just like going like crazy at that moment, just like, and where at one moment, like 10 seconds earlier, I felt like I was against a wall. I was like, all of a sudden felt like I was standing on top of a mountain with my son. And I took a picture, bro, like this crazy picture. Like this, I'm so happy I took.
Yeah.
And like this picture, like the man, there's like that right there is like this reminder of like, but it was at that moment that I fully, truly, like I had accomplished things for sure. I accomplished my goal cards. I accomplished stuff because I wrote down and I believed in my goals, right? But this right here is what launchpad me to realize I have the ability to manifest anything I want in my life.
In here, turn on the TV, I'll like sync it to the TV, you know? And I'll be trading and just the sun's coming up. It's just like crazy view, man. Bathroom's like huge.
Holy shit.
Yeah, big shower, everything, man. Like it's like someone's bigger than someone's bedroom. Even in the toilet, there's like a bidet toilet right there. It's like separate. I don't know why. That's kind of a.
You got the his and hers set up though.
It should be like that, yeah. So that the realtor guy was telling me, he's like, hey, just do a his and her, just put a wall and then put another door right here, and then you got his and her, people like that. The closet is like really messy. My cleaner was off this week, but it's like huge closet.
I know, right? It's awesome.
And
Wow,
so
bro.
crazy, you know. It's just
awesome.
Like a ton of. This is a game room, but we don't use it. So I'll probably throw some stuff in here just for looks. But if I want to watch a movie, I just watch it downstairs by the water. It looks nicer and stuff.
Some people in Texas, they have like a whole room dedicated to like a home movie theater.
Yeah. We have a movie theater in our last house, but like we just don't come up here. Like, if I want to, I like watching down there, and you're like by the water, and you know. And so, but yeah, the house is huge.
It's a beautiful home. Thank you so much for showing us around, man.
It gave me this direction because I manifested it. That means I can manifest like totally opposite. And it was like, dude, I went from this misery to like, it was hard for me to sleep that night. I was so excited. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get the electricity on. So next day, get out of bed. I'm like, I started making some websites for my printing company that I had to start making some money. So I like started just doing, I created some websites with some really good taglines. I started doing Google ads on that, and that company just started to blow up real quick. I went on Craigslist because I was like, hey, look, I got to get the electricity on very quickly. I got to get $1,000. How am I going to get that? I was like, all right, I'll just go to Craigslist. I'm going to like find some freaking odd jobs on Craigslist, like labor moving, flush on, like freaking fix someone's toilet. Like I did anything, dude. Like, and I got the electricity on like in a day and a half. Took like 2 days to do it. But I just went to people's house. I did whatever to get some cash real quick. My kids came with me, and they're in the freaking stroller, and I'm inside unclogging someone's toilet and shit. Like, and so like on the other side too, like you hear about these kids and people who are like, oh yeah, I'll do whatever it takes. Well, I won't do that. Shit, I'm not gonna do that, man. I'll do anything it took back then. It didn't matter to me. I didn't care about what it looked like.
What was that mindset?
Right? Like, and that's a common theme between, I think, most people that have crossed over that boundary. Is like, none of them cared, and none of them care what people think. It's like, and so electricity's on within like a month, 2 months, I guess. My printing company started doing well, had like 20 grand in the bank. And within like 6 months, I took a picture of my bank account, and I was like driving home crying because I'd finally deposited money, and I finally had like 100 grand saved up in my bank account just within like 6 months, because I was pounding the other direction all of a sudden, like, and then just went from there, man. I built and built. And at the same time, the other epiphany moment of this was I was sitting there and I was like, how many other people are probably having the same situation, but they're not going to have the thought of knowing how to get out? And maybe if I build myself up, I can help them too.
Big bands in my vault.